The shell that I usually go into is basically like a safe house. Everything is all right in that shell, but it's also lonely in there. I used to get bullied a lot, and they used to call me Blackie because of my complexion. I was the quietest one inside of school, and yet I'm the one getting picked on.
I met John about a year and a half ago. Just kind of getting to know John, realizing that, he's had a history of being targeted because of his skin color. The fact that his family live in poverty, maybe he doesn't have the most expensive sneakers or the clothes. And he mentioned really struggling with people walking behind him. So imagine living in New York City with that being something that triggers you.
I think that's part of the anxiety that came up in me, like that really want to explode and just take everybody in there that ever made fun of me.
In the city of New York, statistics around kind of young men of color and incarceration is kind of glaring. So approximately 58% of young men of color between the ages of 19 and 24 are in city jails. So that right there shows that there are some serious systemic issues that are impacting the lives of these young men. The Make It Happen program is a program directed at young men of color between the ages of 16 and 24 who've been directly impacted by community violence. And we discuss the intersections between what healthy masculinity looks like for these young men and the history of trauma that they've dealt with. We run programming in some non-secure detention centers. We have researchers that work with us. We formed relationships with the Kings County District Attorney's Office.
Every time I go to Make It Happen, I always have to speak up, talk to people. I started to open up more and make it happen. I started doing it in school. It was out of my comfort zone at first, but after a while, I just started getting used to it. It's like, oh, this is getting cool.
I want our young men to challenge their definition of masculinity because a lot of times that definition is intertwined with their own trauma history.
I was like a worthless person. So Make It Happen was a big impact on me, try to open up more and try to make friends a whole lot better.
His history of being targeted and bullied put him in this shell. Now he has a voice. He's starting to develop into an adult. And that's all I wanted for him. That's all he wanted for himself.
Make It Happen was the best thing for me, especially in my social life.
Accountability is important for things that you do, but you can still hold someone accountable, but also validate their experience. That's a restorative approach to helping people. One thing I've noticed that helped me grow through all of the pain and obstacles in my life was that there were people out there that took an interest in me. When you feel safe and you feel validated, by validating being supported, you can do anything. You can really move forward.